Hi everyone and welcome to the Economic Development Committee of Cupertino. Today is Thursday, July 30th of 2026. My name is Jane Lin and I'm the chair of the EDC. Welcome to everyone here in the Quinlan conference room and to those joining on Zoom. I will call this meeting to order. Staff, will you please open your call?
Committee member Isawa,
Here.
committee member Bono, committee member Carter,
Here.
vice mayor Chow,
Here.
committee member Donty,
Here.
committee member Solstrom, here, committee member Yip, vice chair Kang, here, chair Lin.
Aye.
For the record, committee member Bono and committee member Yip are absent.
Photos, yes.
I'm actually here.
Okay.
Heard my name.
Yes, perfect timing. Since we have our vice mayor Chow here joining us today, how about we do another round of introductions so she knows everyone. Yeah, I can start. My name is Jane Lee. I'm the chair this year, and I represent the commercial real estate for this economic meeting. I'm Selena Kang, vice chair of the EDC, and I represent the technology sector.
I'm Manjulia Sana. You represent which sector?
Education,
Education.
but I think my thing is like more holistically.
Tracy Casaltron, representing Planning Commission.
Jack Carter, represent Sustainability Commission.
That
Lindsay Nelson, administrative assistant.
Jim Fine City staff.
I'm Astrid, also city staff. Yeah, thank you everyone. Liang Chong.
I'm Balaram Danti. I represent the TIC Commission.
And I'm Charlie Bono, hospitality and parks and recs.
Great.
But everyone knows Vice Mayor Chow. All right, so let's move to approval of minutes. The subject is to approve the April 30th, 2026 Economic Development Committee minutes. The recommended action is to approve the minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, then I'll move to approve the April 30th, 2026 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right.
Let's go to a roll call vote. Committee member Isawa. Committee member Bono,
Yeah.
committee member Carter,
Yes.
vice mayor Chow,
Yes.
committee member Donty,
Yes.
committee member Solstrom,
Yes.
vice chair Kang,
Yes.
chair Lin.
Yes.
Motion carries with committee member Yip absent.
Okay. And the next agenda item is postponements. Is there any postponements? No. Oral communications, any oral communication?
Yes, we have two speakers in person. Our first speaker is Kathy Helgerson. Okay, go ahead.
I'm very concerned about the setbacks on single family homes that are adding now, additional grandmother apartments. And I've gone to the city about this, and I've also gone to the permit and the permit department and the building department, and there's a conflict. When I saw a picture, took pictures of it, and Lynn, she's on too. It's not even a foot and a half. Okay, this is wrong. It's against the rules and regulations. And I got the second person in the city, and because the other guy was out, and I'm not getting anywhere. Okay, now I tried going to a housing in St. Clair County, or the state housing authority people. You can't get through. You can't call them, and you can't email. You can't do anything. It's really bad what's going on right now. I'm very concerned. Gavin Newsom needs to do something about it. Wrong. These houses look like hell. It's astronomical. And there's this little house in the middle, and there's going to be a housing project on both sides. The same what's in there, and nobody's doing anything about it. You know, I talked to some of the city, and nothing's happened. Maybe the city council members can tell me. I haven't gone to their meeting, all the different minutes anyways. So I'm very concerned that maybe that you guys can do something about this to find out what's going on, because it's very important. It's not just, the economic development. That economic what? Everything's economic. If you buy a house here, Cupertino, if you develop it, if you deal with builders and all this, it's an economic development. You're developing property, you're developing the houses, but what they're doing is wrong, okay? If you guys, it's on Bearden in Hanover, and right over there on Dunbar. And it's a nightmare. I need the city to look at this. I need every department in the city to look at this. And also, I wanted to bring it up with the state to take it through. And I'm trying to say Clark County, but they're sometimes liking too, trying to get through these people's minds. So I want, that's why I'm here. Okay, I want to comment, or vacation, all right, and I want you guys to help me out. And Leanne, excuse me, find out what's going on here. And the city council was not notified about any of these bills. They completely override the city council, the staff does. Someone needs to do something about the staff is working here. With this setback, I have pictures, they went out, they're still not taking care of anything, and not meeting with me. Somebody has to do something about this. So I'm hoping that you guys, city council members here at the meeting or online or whatever, please do something about this problem. It's very serious. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Our next speaker is Michael. Welcome, Michael.
So I just wanted to talk about our economic plan in the city. I think the number one thing that's holding us back is we're not a destination for young people like me. There's nothing like in Mountain View where there's actual downtown. There's like, what is here is just residential, and then there's like Whole Foods, and then there's Main Street, and then that's it. That's literally it. So I'm thinking we need a 10-year, plan to actually build a downtown or something like that in order to get the economic years of the city turning. Because as we all know, we have a deficit. We only have 60 million in our budget left. And if we don't do anything, if we don't increase our tax base, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna raise more taxes on the old people here? Like, this is a major problem that we all need to deal with. And, that might require changes. You said you don't really like housing, the other commenter, but, we might have to do that because, young people can't pay 5 million per house. This is not tenable. So we need to do something about that.
What do you want?
Like, housing prices need to go down in this city. Well, do you look at our school districts, they're paid per student, and the number of students are going down. Why is that? Because people who have kids look at our housing prices and they say, I want to go somewhere else that I can live, that's affordable. And what happens is that people sit on their houses because they want to give them to their kids, and all these houses are empty, and there's no more kids in our schools, and then they have to close down our schools. So, you might not like it, we all might not like it, but this city has to change in some way, somehow.
Thank you, Michael. We have no remaining speakers in person and no hands raised on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. Seems like the addresses a lot of problems related to housing. And the next item is old business, and there's no agenda on that, so we'll move to new business. And it also shows no agenda on the rule on start a formal agenda. The first item is a filming permit program. Do we have a president?
Yes, we do, Chair. Given the colleague Aspas Robles, who is.
Great. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. I see you have my. It's a little different. Okay, well, as my colleague said, my name is Ashton Robles. I'm the assistant city manager here at the city, and I'm here to present on filming in Cupertino. So if you can scroll down. There we go. So the city has a newly adopted ordinance that regulates film production in the city. The ordinance established a clear process that regulates any commercial filming on public property and requires a filming permit with the exception of news media, any private videos that are not intended for sale, and studio filming. Commercial nonprofits and student films do require a permit, but are exempt from any fees. There are various reasons why we would want to regulate filming in the city. First, the permit requires payment of fees, and obviously those fees will bring revenue to the city. It also sets a clear process for staff and production companies to avoid any confusion and increase it. But most importantly, requiring a permit allows the city to protect its residents and neighborhoods by regulating noise levels and reducing impacts to day-to-day activities like parking, garbage pickup, lighting, and street uses. Here is a little snippet from our city website. So if you want any other information about filming in general, the ordinance, the fees, you can find it here under the communications portion of our site. This is also where you would go if you want to apply for a permit. So this is live now. As I said, it was adopted in May, so it just went into effect last month in June, so it's still new. But this is live now. Go ahead. And our website has this on there, which is just a clear step-by-step overview for anyone who is interested in applying for a permit. It does, would require some time, so we ask people to start looking into documentation and things, a month or two in advance, but the ordinance requires the application to be submitted at least 14 days before filming, and at least 30 days if any of the filming activity is going to affect traffic or public safety. Staff will review the application, and then the applicant will pay their fees. And then you will receive a permit, and we will send notices. So we will do noticing for neighborhoods within a 300-foot radius at least 72 hours in advance, so that people know that you have filming going on. And then filming can begin. And so before this, we didn't have a process. So it was, there was not clear regulations, there was not clear times when you could film or not. So this process allows us to do that consistently every when we get requests. Go ahead. Last slide, I think. And here's a snippet of our fees. This is just included with the adoption this past month. And so here's a snippet of our fees. They are comparable to what we saw in other cities. We did do research on this process. And then I'll just close with saying, as I said, it's new. We have yet to receive an actual application yet, but the city manager's office will monitor this and regulate and see how many we get, and we'll go from there. But I wanted to bring this to you all today just for awareness that this is new. Feel free to share it if you have any people that you know who are interested in filming any type of commercial or something for their business. Just let them know that this exists, and information can be found on the website, and you can reach out to me and my colleagues for any questions. So thank you.
Any discussions?
I just want to say, wonderful that you just did that, because as you all know, and if you don't know, CBS will air in October a new TV legal drama by the producers of The Good Wife called Cupertino, which that will help us a lot a year from now. And I just got back from Japan for a sales mission. They love The Good Wife. They even create their own, but that's going to create such a huge economic development in tourism. And we're hoping, obviously, Netflix, all of those other channels. And as you know, The Good Wife, the same producers had it for 19 series. It's a very acclimated TV drama series, and hopefully with the name Cupertino, that will attract a lot of tourism and maybe more people wanting to film. It's great that this is already in the works and done. I just wanted to give it 2 cents.
I have a question. So when my kids were start the school, like they did some class projects where they went around filming. So it was not completely private in sense you do show to your classroom. So will that require a permit or?
So this only this only applies for commercial filming. So anything intended for like sale. Yeah.
Okay.
Any project intended for resale, right? Or for publication, you're gonna sell it or it's gonna be broadcasted, not any home videos, any student projects. Obviously, if a school was gonna do some type of commercial, they would need to apply for a permit, but they would be exempt from fees. So, but that's rare.
You go for commercial operations, right?
A quick question, what about real estate filming?
Yeah, so I I guess if you're gonna put it on your website and let's say you're making a commercial and it's gonna be out there for business, I think that falls under commercial.
For the sale of the residence, you put it up on Zillow or,
Oh, you're talking about for per house?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I thought you were talking about like a real estate firm trying to gain business. Yeah, let me look into that a little bit further to see if that's required, because I don't think if you're filming your home, right, for sale, I'll have to look into that if that's considered, because the video itself is not what's for sale, it's the home, right?
right,
The purpose of this is for the actual video, right? You're talking about movie, film, and all that, and like, you're not gonna sell the video of your house
Yeah.
100 times, right? And that I think is, it's a nuance, but I don't think it counts, but
okay.
I can confirm.
What is the benefit to the filming folks for this?
The benefit
What do they
for the
get?
production firm. Well, so actually, I think we found it surprising that most of the people that had reached out to us were surprised to find that we didn't have. And so I think that it is, they're used to this. They're used to having a process. They're used to paying fees. We're talking about like big production companies, right? We've had requests that asked us, do you have a permit? What do we do? And we didn't have anything. And so they were like surprised, right? And so one of the benefits is that our guidelines are clear, right? So there's no issue about any, there's no gray areas about where they can film and where they can't film and all that. So I think it just provides clarity to anyone who wants to film here. And I think it was a surprise that we did it, right? And so now I think we're more in compliance with other cities. Like we're talking about major places that film, right? Like LA and other places that film all the time. They have all these regulations, so this is not a surprise to them.
Yeah, I guess I'm coming to the point of, I mean, this guy has worked on me in terms of, we're selling stuff, right? And so how are we selling this? This is something they expect, then how are we selling, having this plate? The Cupertino's great, because they have a film.
Sales pitch.
I just had a quick question. So if you are, say, a business or anyone that's just trying to create their own advertising video.
Right.
Do they have to get a permit? Like anytime you're not reselling your video, you're just advertising your.
Yeah,
Require-
I think it kind of falls a little bit with what I was saying earlier about real estate. But I want to get that confirmation and can definitely make sure that is spread around here. So you
You know,
can
mine-
make sure
Sorry.
that is clear. But yeah, you're right. That's an advertisement for their business. But I would want to confirm with our legal team whether or not that applies.
I think my preference would be that we not add additional burdens on our businesses that are trying to just promote themselves and do well.
Right.
And, if everyone has to come get a permit, and especially if it costs money, that's. Right, yeah, now we've just added.
Yeah.
layers, So,
I would assume, I would want to double check, but I would assume like, because you're not selling the video,
right.
right? That's, I think, the main difference.
Okay, that would be helpful because, I think right now it just mainly says exemptions are for nonprofit. And so to me, I look and I'm like, well, what if I'm not a nonprofit,
Right.
but I'm still not selling my video?
Right.
So, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I'll get back. I'll make sure to clarify that with him.
Just want to clarify the length, right? For example, a 30-second commercial will be counted as part of the
Yes.
movie team.
Yes.
All right, so we're finished with discussion here. We can open up for public comments.
We have one speaker in person, Kathy Helgerson. One moment while I.
One is,
And also Michael.
And Michael. Okay. Go ahead, Kathy.
Well, number one, the fees are pretty high. Okay, so if the city's trying to make money. Okay, the second thing is, do kids, parents have to sign off if there's a film in the film, okay? And what's going on with other cities? What are they doing? Okay, nothing was brought here telling us, well, this is how this works with the city, it's doing pretty good. These are some of the companies that they do business with. I'd like some history. So maybe somebody here on the commission, the subcommission can go back and find out what's the history, how long it's, let's say Los Altos, so San Jose would be better. Find out what they're doing, and see what else they need to do. to make all of this safe, because a lot of times it's not just good promotion, it could be bad promotion. Is there regulations that say you cannot, put anything, on the, film anything, especially on the city council, website, that is not beneficial to the city. It could be very negative. It could be both, opinions, one way or the other, I'm really worried about what this could do. Okay, and, also, what kind of drama are we allowing? Like we're talking about this one drama that they're gonna be presenting as a movie or whatever. Regulates that. We have to look at what's in this stuff, okay, before we go and approve it. Who's gonna approve this? Is it committee? Is it this committee or is it another department? What department is approving this? And where are the permits from? Who's gonna be authorizing? Will the city council look at these permits, which is something I'd like to see? The city council needs to oversee a lot of things that are going on and they're not, okay? And yes, they're very busy. They probably have, get jobs on the side, blah, blah, blah. I think this is really important. So if you have a subcommittee, maybe they can look into some of this. I was curious about why do we need a subcommittee? What are you guys supposed to be doing? I don't understand this either. So my feeling is we need to put some really strong regulations on this. Not just go ahead, let's just do it. This stuff's really good. We're making a lot of money. Okay, so the city has to be careful about that. Okay, and how do they come up with these fees is another story. So I'm very concerned about this. So maybe at the next meeting, you guys can bring us some more information about this and what I've said. And probably at the next meeting, I'll be bringing something in writing so it can be put on the web. So other people can read it. Now, I don't know how many people you get the word out about you guys, economic development committee, or how many people, 6,000 people in Cupertino. Are you sending notices out?
Thank you, Kathy. That is your time. Our next speaker is Michael White. Welcome, Michael.
I'm very confused by this policy because it's surprising to me especially since we're in this Silicon Valley that doesn't seem to take into account that social media exists. So let's say like I'm a YouTuber, I'm in Cupertino, I'm pointing a camera at myself, me and my friend are doing a video podcast. I upload it to YouTube, I gain like $300. So in every week I'm doing a podcast, right? So do I have to go to Cupertino City Hall for every podcast that I do, like 2 months in advance and say to Cupertino, I'm doing a podcast series I'm uploading on YouTube. I net negative from all the permits I'm doing, right? And there's also a scale, right? So let's say like I'm uploading a 60-second short to TikTok and I'm getting $50 for each TikTok. Do I have to go to city council for that? Like, and also maybe like a little higher. I'm a social media or like I'm a podcaster company. I have like 5 employees. It's in my house. I have like a little studio room. You can't tell it's in Cupertino. It's just like a white wall in the background. Like, does that also count as like production and filming? Like, maybe we should have something where like you can tell it's in Cupertino or like I'm also very surprised like there's this like public property component to it. Like, I don't know, it's just my values. Like, maybe we should be able to do what we want with our private property. Like, maybe we should have cut off or like treat, when people film, like how big their company is, like what's the size? Is this like an actual like Warner Brothers production, or is this like a couple of friends who like get together and like want to do something and upload it to social media? Well, students are already exempted, but there's like a lot of considerations here that I don't think you guys have considered at all. Yeah, I just think like there's so many different things about social media that are just not considered here. So I just want you guys to maybe look into that.
Thank you, Michael. We have no speakers in person and no hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you. So the recommended action for this subject is to receive an update on the implementation of the city's film and permit ordinances. Do we do a motion and then?
Yeah. So I'd like to follow up on some of the issue raised by the speakers. So I think one question was, what if the video content is not good? I think as a city, we cannot regulate on content. It's a free speech issue. So all we are regulating is the impact to the community. And I believe that, you don't need any permit if you are filming indoors in someone's house. This is only if you are filming outdoors, right?
Public.
Or public property,
Yeah.
inside public property or outdoors. In terms of private property,
Talking about it's
so
in the house, it's considered a studio.
yeah, so those are, you don't need permit. So still private property, is that also meaning if you are filming outside of, outdoors on a private property?
Correct.
But if you are like on Apple campus doing an Apple video, you don't need a permit, it's their own private property, right? It's only if they are using public street, maybe public street and filming Apple, for example.
Correct.
That's the only thing we can regulate.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to clarify. And who will review the permits? I think you have that in the slides. The staff will be implementing the policy and reviewing the permits. The council doesn't need to be involved. And regarding the fees, my understanding is the fees is cost recovery based. Right, so it's based on how much staff time we need to process at the notification for the permit. We legally, we are not allowed to make any money from the fees, right? Just want to confirm, okay. I think it's a good question about the social media. What if someone made a video, but they put it on YouTube for free, but they actually get paid by YouTube for the number of visits? That's an interesting. So is that considered a commercial video? Maybe that needs to be clarified, because I think the initial intent might be that the video itself is for sale for a price. But this kind of social media click-based payment, if that should not be considered, maybe that can be clarified when we revise it. Yeah, so that's.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on that too. My idea, love for you to consider is, I think it's a very valid point around social media. And I think the purpose of this ordinance was to regulate large film productions because they're disruptive to traffic and neighborhoods and all of that. And I would generally consider a social media video on the iPhone, or even if they have a small team, is not disruptive. So, maybe if there's some criteria that can be added around, like just, size of filming.
Less than 5 crew.
Right, like neighborhood impact, if there's, less than 5, I don't think it's much of an impact, so.
Maybe that it can be considered for the next one.
Right.
You have to be really careful because that's a loophole right now. Because then YouTube is either some very tiny thing that nobody does anything, or it's a major production. And if YouTube has become, and I watch YouTube things that are news oriented with commercials and the whole bit. And so I'm just saying, you put it out, look for the loopholes.
Right.
Yeah, I just did my quick research. It took a second to look into it. If you're a YouTuber and you earn money on it, you need to have a business license at the cost of $185 a year.
Oh, I didn't.
That's really what it is. And there are some exemption if you're doing less than $300 earning, you might be having a little waiver on that, but that's what it is considered. Someone that earns money on social media pays a business license for it. 181 plus $4 from the state, which is SB 1186.
And that is when you film in Cupertino, or do you?
Correct.
Live in Cupertino?
If you live and you're a YouTuber and film in Cupertino, you're still required to get a business license per the city of Cupertino.
And now you will also be required for the production license?
I invite to do a quick search, even on AI, you'll find all
Yeah.
and it's super easy. I mean, we cannot put staff time on this. anyone can do a research. Takes 0 seconds.
So we still do a motion, right? Yes.
We don't need a motion for this item because it's an information. item.
Great, okay, sounds good. So coming into the next item, which is the small business permit streamlining. I believe staff also has the presentation.
Thank you, Carrie. So this next item is the small business permit streamlining. I'm sorry for my voice. I'm getting over a cold, so fully healthy at this point, but my voice is still coming back. So bear with me if I'm not very clear. So just a quick background on the small business permit streamlining project. This is part of the city work program that I mentioned in the previous meeting. The council adopts a 2-year city work program, and those projects get implemented over a 2-year period. And so the fiscal year 25-27 work program includes an economic development for retail and small business item. And that item in particular focuses on improving the building experience for small businesses. And so that's an item that I'm bringing today to this committee to get some feedback before we begin any formal initiation of this item. So that way we can include a process that's going to be inclusive to all our small businesses, provide us with the information that we need to develop a new program that can help our small businesses through the permitting process. That's a quick background of this item. Next slide. The approach is to look at a 3-phase approach. Phase 1 to focus on stakeholder outreach, engaging with small businesses who have recently been involved in the permitting process with the city, and try to gather some their challenges, some of their experiences on what it was like to go through the process, and really try to drill down on some of the specifics. So it would not only just be small businesses, but also their technical experts, like their architects and contractors, because we need to hear kind of all sides of the experience. Phase 2 would focus on operating and having conversations with peers in Santa Clara County. We can open this to outside of Santa Clara if there are best practices. I appreciate your recommendations on that, and have it at the right presentation, but just looking at other cities, understanding what other cities do as it relates to supporting small businesses. Getting a better understanding of any cities within the county or outside the county have expedited permit programs, or just different types of support mechanisms to support these small businesses in their communities. And then phase 3 is to look at our external agencies and have some collaboration there with Santa Clara County Fire, for example, Cupertino Sanitary. We as a city of Cupertino, we don't have a full service. We do have outside agencies that also are a part of the permitting process. So having collaboration and conversation with those agencies will be very helpful, because they are part of the process. And there have been in the past various challenges that small businesses have experienced that they've shared with staff. So we know to have those conversations as we try to develop a program for small business permitting improvements. So with this three-phase approach, we're hoping to enhance the permitting experience. We're hoping to identify process challenges, so that way we can better understand delays, point of confusion, and other bottlenecks that are impacting small businesses during the permit process, and then strengthen our interagency coordination going forward. So that's kind of the high level of this presentation. And with that, I'll move to the recommended action. It's to review and approve, review and provide feedback on the proposed approach to evaluate the opportunity to streamline the permitting process. I have provided questions for EDC to kind of think about as you provide your feedback. These are questions that perhaps could help staff go back and kind of this 3-phase approach. You don't have to respond to these questions directly.
Let's open up for discussions.
We all know that Cupertino changed to HDL, right? The system and all of that. So do we have any feedback? Is it even better for anyone who's using it? Do we have any type of feedback on that? Does that streamline the process? Are we having more happy customers?
That is, HDL came in for the business license process.
Yes.
I don't have all that information at this time, but for this particular item for small businesses, going through the permitting process, that we use for our system. And
Could you, for people like me, do with HDL with?
HDL is a third-party platform that we use to manage our business license.
Thank you,
Process.
thank you.
I see. Do we, and how long is this process gonna take? Because you have a 3-phase approach, right?
Yeah, I think by end of the year, early 2027, I think we should have some good traction on what we're going to be able to do with this item. So I would say within the next 6-7 months, we're hoping to have something.
Do we receive any complaints before regarding, permitting process and stuff like that? And which type of industry, like are they restaurant, hospitality, or I know retail rarely have any some other industry, but do we have a survey before or?
Yeah, so I think the way that I would respond is, I think generally businesses, as they go through the permit process, depending on how complex the changes are for the improvements, could kind of create a longer time for them to get through permit compliance. I think also a lot of it is really at the team level, but not necessarily the city's staff. It's more of, the submittal that they're providing, incomplete applications, not responding to the questions that have been asked for them to respond to. And so we'll look at all of that as we try to improve this process for the small businesses. But there's a lot kind of to that question, right? And some of it is, response time, some of it is what the business is and how they submit the information and not having complete information, and then just other business issues happening where the business may not be responding when they would like to because they have other matters that they're dealing with, right? Would delay their permit process.
You have,
So I think that's a really good point, and I think always collecting data is really important. As you sort of structure the stakeholder outreach and how you collect that data, I would absolutely look at how we look at both qualitative and quantitative data. So a lot of the points that you're making around response time, lead time, system responses, things that can actually be validated in a factual way, I think we should ensure that those metrics are consistently aligned and agreed upon. And when you collect that, the qualitative aspect, which I think can sometimes, because people complain, people have very different experiences, people's recollections vary. I think that's always an aspect, but I think helping to kind of ground that feedback so that the recommendations we do make also take into consideration actual realities versus perceptions, I think is really important. Considering your 2027 line too as well, I think looking historically, always good, but we continually have businesses applying for permits. It might behoove us to perhaps think about engaging some of these folks as part of that process to help kind of gather it as they're going through it too as well. So not to influence their experience, but perhaps letting them know that we would be more interested in their feedback as they're going through it right now, right? So I think different sort of data points that kind of help us come to alignment and agreement on how we move forward would be.
Would that be more like a case study of?
Yeah, case study, just like I said, just engaging some of them, just letting them know like, hey, as you're going through this permitting process, we'd like to ensure that we touch base with you 3 times. To kind of gather more recent impressions, for example. So I think just different ways to collect some of that data to help sift through the noise, perhaps. Facts.
Currently, when we have this small business permitting process, after the permit is issued, do we solicit for any feedback from that business? Do we have any small set of questions?
Yeah, so with this project, I should mention, there will be collaboration with the building division. I know the building division does have a survey form that they do push out to applicants that do complete the permit process. I don't know how often they're completing those surveys. But I think with our effort here, there will be an opportunity for us to collect those information.
Yeah, I think that would be very useful information because they'll have the process very fresh in their mind, having gone through that process, right? And maybe we can include a carrot at the end of the survey so that they're motivated to fill out the survey.
Yeah, and in my role, a lot of what I do is assist businesses through the permitting process. So there is a number of businesses, I know, Jay knows this, but there's a number of businesses that they make solutions. Or most certainly be tapping into those businesses to get more complete staff, so that way we can follow up.
Thank you.
This is quite an important action, I think, because this is actually the very first interaction, for the small business. Sometimes if they come to the city of Cupertino first time, this is the very first interaction that they have with the city staff and also the city in general. So are you going to be providing, or the staff will be providing feedback or like progress along our meetings? Or we'll wait till, the October 29th, right? To get them kind of.
Yeah, so we've had initial discussions internally. I think at some point, hopefully the next meeting, community development staff would come to EDC and give a presentation on building on the process and some of that stuff. So we've had those conversations. So yeah, I think we're going to continue to engage with EDC as we continue to work on this project.
Okay, great.
Very collaborative in that way.
Yes, just from a professional standpoint, I really hear a lot of, not complaints, but comments on retrofitting. Because a lot of time when the business want to come in, if they are a completely different type, for example, it used to be a retail and now a restaurant. And then then the shopping center might be a little bit dated. Now the new restaurant owner have to come in and provide walkways, do a lot of the retrofitting, and that costs them a lot of money. And also they have to work with a lot of like external agents. So that is actually really dragging the process. I'm not sure how many, but these are some of the feedback I've heard. So maybe that can provide you some insight for the staff to look into as well about retrofitting. Because if they continue doing their business, if they don't sell or they don't transfer it to a new business, then they grandfather in and they don't have to do any adjustment. However, when a new business comes in, they have to bear all the costs of providing new equipment and facilities and stuff like that. But that's what I've heard, so be helpful as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Phil. Sorry. I was just gonna say, thank you for bringing this item, because I think this is something that's been really important to me, and it's great that we're able to come in at this early phase, because absolutely where we want to wait in. I agree with Commissioner Tang about just looking at existing data. I think that, serving people, you're going to get like one subset of responses, but actually I think we had this discussion recently because on planning commission, we just talked about streamlining permits for small homes. Yeah, and so it's a similar thing. You have a lot of the data that will tell you where businesses are getting held up in the permit process. So if you can definitely look at that I think would yield a lot of insights. And then, I think I wanted to clarify, when we talk about streamlining permitting, most of it is really on the building side, right? I mean, on the excluding building, it's really just getting the business license.
For small business.
Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes planning will work on the parking.
So then the parking analysis, so for commercial shopping centers, there's a parking analysis that's required, which basically just requires these shopping centers to a certain number of parking requirements per space. So there is that analysis part that happens, but from the permitting side itself, it's mostly coming from.
Okay, great. Then my ask would be that we look not only at systems and where the system can be streamlined, but also, from a permit standpoint, are there steps in the process that can be eliminated, or are there types of permits that aren't necessary, that maybe other cities aren't doing? And I think it's great that you have the comparison with your cities. I know that some cities have like streamlined processes for certain types of businesses. So yeah, I think in addition to figuring out, where the pain points are, it's really actually, are there types of permits that maybe aren't actually necessary and we're just doing for whatever reason, historically, legacy, they've been carried over. Vice Mayor.
Oh, Vice Chair,
So,
not Vice Chair.
yeah, I think I initially was confused like Commissioner Bono. I was thinking of business license. And which is why HDO was mentioned, because that's a third party that we just got to manage the business license. So this is about the building permit process. And so that will be small business who have a brick and mortar store in Cupertino. Okay, and so I'm guessing the phase one would be, so it seems to be, yeah, I think do we already have some data that we have collected? Those who have applied for permit, and what's the process, what's the timeline? It seems we should collect those data first, not just based on stakeholder outreach, because we already have those data in the city, right? And what permits people are applying, how much time it takes from the application submission to the final, and then what they need to go through. So if we can get those data, and
Well,
then,
if things don't go, if everything goes smoothly, I mean,
yes, there,
yeah, I mean, basically you can't say that it's gonna take this time to this time, and when they find out that there's some problem. And they dig up
yeah.
a native burial site. I'm throwing something out there. My brain can't go, but I mean, things go wrong.
Yeah, I know, but then, so there will be outliers in the data we collect, of course, but then if we already have data from, then we can get some idea what is the current status. I think before we talk about any improvement, we should know where we are now. Yeah, and then maybe other similar cities, we can, maybe they have done some kind of data analysis to see what's their length of permitting. I believe Palo Alto has done some audit of their process, but I'm not sure if it's a public works or a permitting audit for their process. And then I know some business have reached out because of some holdup at, for example, Cupertino Sanitary, they don't respond. So it will be nice if we have good information so that they know if they are stuck with either sanitary or PG&E or fire, or who do they contact? For example, sanitary, their sanitary district board that is not very responsive.
Are you,
If
are
you
you,
reach out,
are you bringing up the fact that we needed an ombudsman? Someone that would,
I don't know.
And say like, okay, how do I? That person would go and.
Maybe the city can just provide, here is the list of people you can contact for each of this department. Then if there is any question, maybe it would be nice if a city staff could be a person who know that sanitary well, and maybe can help follow up that, so they are, if in case of anything is stuck, yeah. So that's what's.
I think what you're saying is what's within essentially the city of Cupertino's control versus.
Yeah, something,
right?
yeah, something is beyond our control, but for our small business, a lot of times they are at a loss. In case they are staff at an external agency, but our staff likely already have someone who is familiar with another person, a phone call can quickly check up a status. But a small business will be very hard for them to get a status update.
Right.
So if there is a contact person who is familiar with sanitary, another person familiar with the fire or PG&E, then that would be helpful.
Yeah, to provide a list, I agree. I do want to make one other comment that committee member, consultant, I just, it also seems like, as you're also looking at the permit process too, as well within your commission. I think there, it does sound like there are various efforts essentially that are just happening within this. It also might make sense to kind of look at root causes, things such as static, et cetera, that we look at solving this as well, maybe across various areas, not necessarily just EDC, but I think that's where that collective, the collective weight, right, of our recommendations and findings might be helpful towards that, because there may be systemic issues versus things that are just, that are very specific, right, to certain areas. And so I think it would be great as the data shows up that like, oh, it's a systems process, it's just a really long application, and that's something that's consistent across various, various types of permits, even the moving permits, right, things like that. In addition to, I think the peer city research, the external agency, I think those are always great benchmarks, but I think collectively too, as well, within what's the control of our, within the control of our city, I think we should also always explore for such a stuff. I guess that was a great point that was brought up.
Yeah, Salver, do you have something?
Well, I'll just say overall, for small businesses, I hear what you all saying, but I think it's nice for the city to trying to streamline. But I think that whatever information slash feedback we're gonna have is gonna be skewed because there are certain areas like Daniel Degue mentioned that if there is incomplete permit or if it takes from the fire department, these are all things that will always technically delay. Cupertino is known to have even OTC on the same day, permit provided or 1 to 5 days or 20 days. So I think we should stick to what we know and that it has to be, I think, if you're doing a small business or you're trying to redo a whole thing that will bring fire or this and that, it will take longer than certain other permits. And maybe there should be from the very get-go an estimated time of the wait due to the nature of the permit itself or what they're trying to achieve so that we can give them a direction. But I think overall, the permit department is to their benefit to try to issue it ASAP so that we can get money. But again, like we said earlier, there's other factors that will come in and that is beyond anyone else's control, whether it's the owner of that small business that is unresponsive. So whatever feedback they're trying to get, at the end, it will still be somewhat skewed up to XYZ reason. Now, can the city maybe can come up and say, you're trying to change the whole thing and that's gonna bring all those certain areas that requires long permitting. And so your estimated time may be, I don't know, 6 months or something. I do know we did a matcha opening and they were complaining that it took about 9 month process. But again, human nature will complain about anything and everything, but I'm not telling you if they were responsive or not. So.
Yes, I can follow up on that, just very quick, because I think we can learn from PG&E. PG&E actually take a lot of blame on a lot of delay of the project, even though it's sometimes not their problem. So what they came up with is they have a dashboard. Whenever you submit an application, they will tell you the staff have how much time to respond, how many days to respond. And then so that we can use that as a benchmark, and then the applicant will understand, okay, they have a deadline of XYZ days, so I shouldn't bother them until then, or maybe a week or 2 weeks earlier than that. And then they will, let's say they submitted, the application was submitted, and then the PG&E come back with comments. Then the ball is at the applicant's court, so the PG&E should get off hook from that because they're not responsible for any of the reply time, right? And then the next time, so it's a very systematic process, and nobody can really blame them because it seems like every time they're within their time frame. As long as you tell them, tell the applicant that I'm gonna take this much time, maximum. Sometimes I do a little earlier, but I never delay. Then that way it will be a good database for the city to really check in. And then let's say if an applicant does not reply within, 3 months of commenting, then the applicant should be notified saying, hey, did you have any problem? Is it with the external agency so that we can maybe jump down? So this kind of process that PJ was doing very well. Something we can also take a look at. And sorry, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Good idea, the dashboard. So I wonder, do we currently conduct any survey after a permitting process is finished? So we collect the qualitative data. Do we currently do any of those?
Yeah, I need to double check, but I believe you did at the building level. I believe that.
So we may already have some data. We
Planning Commission discussed it. The building department said they have a survey, but that very few people fill
very
it
few
out.
people fill out. So can we incentivize them to fill out? Maybe if they fill out, next time they get a higher priority for. Yeah.
Sports
5% discount on their next,
application.
business license, right?
License renewal.
Renewal.
Yeah, that could work because they're gonna renew. Right?
They will need the next permit, right?
Money on their stuff.
Yes, it's all good discussion. Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and that, I think it's a good idea to have the dashboard, because I did receive some complaint from people that, this was for a home, expansion. They did not receive any response from the city staff, and there is no estimation of when we will give you a response. So they waited, and don't know when they will even get one. So I think it's nice if there is, at least here we will take 30 days, and that's a limit. But then if in case things load up, we couldn't respond, and then you at least tell them, here are the reason we need another
Yes.
extension. So people,
But do we have the system to? Do we already have that system in place or?
the dashboard, we don't have the dashboard, but at least, we should give people an estimate the time of response, right?
So my solar projects at home, when, it's a mate, I had, whatever you call it, the thing that controls everything, goes out and everything. I got a case manager. Now that's not as big as what we're talking about here. The case manager is someone that I can go ping. And they come out and ping me. So, I mean, is that too labor intensive for the city to have case man for applicants?
We already do have technician that was helping with the process.
Yeah, there's staff that is available to help with permit questions at the counter by phone.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so then when you go into the counter or whatever, then you don't know who's there. If you have a case manager, you have a particular person that's assigned to your case.
Yeah, so when
And then they also would have like the things, alarms going off, there's nothing's happened over X amount of time. And they call the customer, right? The customer said, I was waiting on you.
yeah, I think some of this conversation.
Are very helpful.
Okay.
For a future DC meeting, when
Yes.
staff will be here, and we can talk into the details. I think that will give an opportunity to talk about Acela, how the platform works, how notification happens, the timeline and all of that. I think all of that can be discussed at that meeting. And some of these questions that are being asked of right now will be answered very well. by
That would be
staff.
great.
So-
So, I think one of the questions from staff was, are there specific types of businesses we should prioritize during the stakeholder outreach phase? I'm thinking not exactly during the stakeholder outreach phase, but are there specific type of business we should prioritize in helping? Maybe those we prioritize, we should assign a caseworker to help them. But then I don't know what type of business we should prioritize. maybe the commissioners can provide input.
Oh, I think you got, or you said it, to have the, building stuff. Right? I mean, if I'm a small business person, I'm doing something in my home. I'm getting, my process is gonna go real fast. If I have the, the supermarket that's gonna be turned into a food court, it's gonna go, I need help.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
we look at the business which generate more tax.
More
More
revenue.
tax revenue, right?
Yeah.
That's because so many businesses don't generate any tax revenue.
That's true. Service
Yeah,
business
no-
does not generate. So prioritize those who generate sales tax revenue.
And also who are already in the process because they will be immediate income to the city. Yeah, if they're already in the process, then we can use them as a case study. Yeah. Everything is very well done. I believe staff also get a look back for the next round of presentation. So, and we haven't opened up for public comment yet, right, for this?
Yes, before we go to public comment, I'd like to remind everyone that members of the public may speak only during the designated comment period after we. Please allow each speaker to complete their comments without interruption, so everyone has an equal opportunity to be heard. And our first speaker is Kathy Helgerson. One moment while they bring up the timer. All right, go ahead.
I don't know why we're going to streamline. Okay, have you had a lot of complaints? Is that what this is all about? I'll give you an example. SB 330, housing price bill. They're streamlining it, okay? That is causing a lot of problems, lawsuits. I mean, it's just horrible what's going on here, okay? And you guys want to put streamlining it. And what that means is who's gonna keep track of checking out what's going on, okay? They've even, with the building thing, CEQA has been overridden. They don't want to check the soil, to see if there's anything that needs to be cleaned up. Now Costco is gonna be putting in another building, so they bought the land, okay? So I don't know how long that's gonna take. I haven't been checking into it. I don't know what the streamlining is, if there is any. The city has a certain way of doing things. There's already something implemented. Why are we doing this streamlining thing? I'm gonna have the consequences and the problems the city is gonna have, okay? You guys have to start worrying about this. You can't just go streamlining everything. This is what's happening. It's like, oh, this is great, let's everyone. That's not the way the whole system works. Because when you do something like that, you're gonna overlook a lot of regulations and rules. And who do you think's gonna supervise that? The staff. You think the city council members are gonna do this? You think you guys are gonna do this? No, it's down there. It's the building and permitting department. And there's problems down there, big ones, big problems. I just mentioned that earlier. So I don't believe in this streamlining. Take the time to review the properties, take the time to review the companies, okay, big and small. I don't care which ones they are. Obviously, the smaller ones are not gonna take as long as the bigger ones, but let's face it, if you're gonna go on streamlining everything, there's certain regulations that you also have to deal with. There's state and federal regulations. Remember that. Don't overlook that. That's very important. And I'm working on it right now with this housing thing, which is really annoying. So the city has to say to themselves, yes, we get some complaints. We'll try to do better, okay? Maybe take a month off or off of the 6 months or do something like that. But don't make everything streamlined, okay? It's not gonna work. You're gonna have a lot of legal problems, okay, if you don't have enough already. And I don't like it. I don't think it's a good, And based on this housing bill, believe me, that's a perfect example. And Gavin Newsom's taking 15 cities to court about not being able to comply with the housing crisis bill, okay? You guys have to see this is a perfect example. You start something and there's a bigger problem. You gotta look at this from all directions. You cannot just go in, well, we're just gonna streamline everything. That'll be great. Small businesses, it says small businesses here. It
Thank
doesn't
you,
say.
Kathy. That is your time. We have no speakers in person and no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, so but this also skipped the motion, right? Because it was just information. Okay, so let's go to the next item.
So Chair, can I clarify? So I think that Katie made a good point that at the state law level, a lot of streamlining is achieved by skip existing regulation, like the CEQA regulation. But my understanding is for the permit streamlining, we're not trying. I don't see anything where we are reducing the requirement, right? We are just looking at our process, see where the bottlenecks might be. We might help to um make it fast, because for a business, when they rent a storefront and they are paying every month the rent while they are waiting for permit and not being able to open their business, that's a real cost to them. So by streamlining the building permit, we are helping the business to reduce their cost of doing business in Cupertino. So just want to confirm, this streamlining has nothing to do with, we're not checking everything, right? We will still check all the things that need to be checked, okay?
That's a very good point, yes. Thanks. Very funny.
Do we need to extend the time for I think we are over time, right? 1 hour.
Yeah, we're always overtime. So we can,
Time check if the membership is willing to stay to continue.
yeah,
I'm here.
yeah, I'm here too.
But
Alright, I'm going good.
I'll go through the next slide relatively quickly, and if you have to leave, fine. But we'll have to. So,
Yes. Okay, let's move to the next item, second to last item, which is the shop local program review, and staff has a presentation here.
With the shop local program review, as Lindsay pulled up the presentation now. So this shop local program, we've had City Shop Local campaign since July of 2025. That's this month, July of 2026. So I've been, myself and my colleagues have been looking at some of the data to try to understand how we are performing. And the goal of this presentation is really to share some of the. The next item after this is to look at EDC subcommittees. There will be a subcommittee for Shop Local. So the subcommittee, I think, can play a good role in helping kind of improving our Shop Local programming. So this item is just more of sharing some information. And then if any of you are interested in serving in that subcommittee, we use the next item to define those members to participate. So these are 7 of the 6 Shop Local campaigns we've had. Dine Out, Restaurant Week, Holiday Shop Local, The Big Game, Bike to Work, and Summer Celebration. All of you are participating in one way, shape, or form when Shop Local campaigns are happening. Flag, please. So just for a little background, there's really the 2-phase campaign. There's a pre-launch where we're working on recruiting participating businesses, distributing marketing materials for participating businesses, and developing all the platforms necessary to host our campaign. During the campaign is where we start to promote the businesses, the offerings, we start to leverage city events, bring more awareness, and then we utilize social media, Google ads, and other mechanisms for marketing our campaign. Just a little bit on the marketing and engagement. So we do digital, online campaign components. We have print and physical materials as well. With the print material, physical print materials, we do have banners, blocks, postcards, and posters. I think just overall observation with the lawn signs, I think that's something I know the vice mayor has made some suggestions in the past, and those are excellent observations. So that's something we'll look to improve on. But overall, it's trying to create awareness of the campaign with these markets. And in this participation, we've had 133 total businesses participate in these 6 campaigns, averaging around businesses per campaign, 50 unique businesses in total, and about 72% are returning. So we're having on businesses that really will continue. Break down the businesses that are engaged in our campaigns. You'll see, 14 participating one time. Many of these 14 are new ones that participate in the summer celebration, actually. And then when there's 2 campaigns, we have 9 businesses participating, 12 businesses are participating in 3 campaigns, 10 businesses and 4 campaigns, and then 5 businesses that participate in the 5 campaigns. So retention is obviously happening for campaigns, and that's good because it's showing that as we continue to have these campaigns, more and more businesses are finding it interesting and helpful. Here is some social media performance. The kind of key highlight here is that our restaurant week in 2025 had the highest overall engagement with 106,000 views, driven primarily by Instagram. And then the big game, which was around the Super Bowl, that generated the second highest views with 62,000. The other campaign kind of in between, around the 10,000 to 20,000 views. Still strong numbers, but the restaurant week really very strong. And we're having restaurant week happen in October of 2026, and we've already opened up the recruitment. So business to sign up, and we'll continue recruiting through October. We also create videos for our Shop Local campaigns, and videos have done very well. Restaurant week had 15,000. Our small business Saturday, 12,000 views, and our Super Bowl and World Cup video had about 1,800 views. Our Google Ads performance, so as we all know, we provided an excellent recommendation at our last meeting about integrating Google Ads. We did that. We did see some strong with the integration of Google Ads. 58,000 total impressions, 2,700 clicks. 92% of impressions were from smartphones, compared to desktops and tablets. And then we saw peak engagement occur on July 2nd, so 2 days. 1,400 impressions. And then we saw the largest impression from the age group of 25 to 34. You can see on the bottom right, it shows the active users from different countries. United States, India, France, United Kingdom. So we're really capturing
International presence.
internationally here to experience the Bay Area. So it creates that type of diversity and interest in. And we do have our Explore Cupertino webpage. This is our page that was launched in 2026 as part of the Big Games Initiative and the Summer Celebration. This page has gotten a lot of views between January and July of 2026. We've had almost 6,900 views. The highest paid views were February, June, and July, all peak months for our Shop Local. So with that, recommended action to receive the report and provide any feedback if you have any. And some questions here if you're interested, but again, the main point was to provide information, share some of the learning that we did with the Shop Local campaigns.
Commissioner Bowman.
I just wanted to, that you would be surprised how much more impression and traffic you would get if on an event basis, you would do an Instagram live. You would capture thousands of thousands. That is an insane amount, but it has to come from official City of Cupertino account. That is the only challenge, but I guarantee you for some events, we have over 300,000+ views. So you have an opportunity there as well as maybe sponsor it through certain companies as well. So these are great numbers and it's a great stuff. But you will see the live will explode all those loops and metrics.
Thank you. Commissioner Duncan?
One of the areas that we have, which is pretty big in Cupertino is the wineries, right? They're relatively unknown. Only Napa and Sonoma, all those counties are known for wine tasting. So maybe there's some campaign we could include the wineries as part of, because that draws a lot of people in. Um, and it can improve, it can add to our sales tax revenue.
Sure. Couple questions actually, just around the business participation. So it says like we had 133 total business participations. What does that represent in terms of total businesses that we would want to potentially target for involvement in some of these top local campaigns? Like essentially, like how many businesses do we have in Cupertino? The 133 represents like 50.
Oh. I'm, okay, so just saying, I think from the, I think we have around 200. I
Okay,
need to double check that.
okay,
I think it's around 200.
okay, so the 133 roughly, okay, but that doesn't cover all sort of sectors.
Right.
And then do we have, is there a way for us to get numbers around essentially the uplift in revenue from the businesses who participated in these campaigns to really understand, because if I think about a value proposition, right, for someone, for a business that should be participating, it says, hey, during X, Y, and Z, you can anticipate, right, an increase in foot traffic and in revenue and increase in things that actually matter to them. So again, I think that might help us in terms of recruitment, participation, and then potentially as we think about formats for future time as well. But I agree with the comments around just this is like just a really great start, especially just in the past year. And I think as we get towards refinement, thinking about some of these nuances and how we potentially package and market them to both businesses as well as highlighting the importance of to our residents, visitors, et cetera, around, just around sort of the retail and commercial aspects that are available here. I think we can start to probably get tighter in some of these plans, but this is really good. Thank you.
Yes, and I actually would like to survey the participating businesses.
Yeah.
For that fact, that just number one, to get their observation, right, and how we can provide improvement, but also are they seeing the actual impacts?
Yeah.
On the transactional side of it,
Absolutely.
which I don't have that information at this time, but I think that is something that we should try to understand better.
Just want to clarify, is it free to join the Giant Local? It's free to join.
Campaign
For everyone already, every one of the business already know.
Yes, we have visited the retail businesses more than one time to promote these campaigns. Every time we have a campaign, we're going, I would say at least 3, 4, 5 times to these businesses and encouraging participation. Now, if they don't have an active business license, they cannot participate. That is one of the requirements. You have to have a physical storefront. That's another requirement. But yes, if they are active and in compliance with the city, they are able to participate.
Even many of the committee members have visited businesses to promote these, right? So.
Right, yes, that's fascinating.
Okay, so thank you for the data provided. It's good to see that all and how many people participated and then the views. But I wonder about promotions made by the participating businesses themselves. Have they helped promote the shop local, and what views are they getting? And also another piece of information is, have they seen any increase in revenue through our campaign? Do we have any data from them? Because that's what we really need, right? What's the impact on them? So have we conducted any survey with those participating business? And even especially those who are not participating anymore, I think we need input from them, what they were expecting, but they think they are not getting, so we can see how we might adjust and in the future. And then and also I wonder have we engaged those shopping mall operators? Not just the businesses indirectly? Have we?
Yes.
Yeah, so should if the shopping mall operators are on board, they can help promote and then they can also give us feedback on what would work for their business in the shopping mall. They probably have more experience in terms of promoting business. So do we have any?
Yes, to answer your question, we have outreach to shopping centers, the property managers, for example. They've been willing to take our posters, for example, post them
Yeah,
to help promote the campaign. They've also helped with getting businesses to sign up as well, because they have their own distribution list amongst their shopping centers, and they've helped kind of push out the campaign messaging that we've pushed out to them. Because they receive those messages. But as far as the revenues, that we have not done that yet. We will do that. And,
Yeah. Okay, so then another thing I'm thinking is the format of the campaign. I see in, I think in Saratoga, they have a special Thursday night something I forgot. Because Thursday night is usually quieter than Friday, Saturday. So they have a special Thursday night promotion for their downtown business. And I think Sunnyvale has actually multiple kind of like a chamber or downtown association. So they have their own business association actually involved with creating events, concert, and those things that draw crowds to a specific shopping mall. So I've been wondering how can we work with so those specific shopping mall to help them promote their mall. Maybe they will, it will be an event they will partially fund or fully fund because it's for their mall, but we help promote. And I don't see a lot of those things in Cupertino. But I see more of them in Sunnyvale. That's business funded. I understanding is for their summer concert in the Sunnyvale downtown. They business contribute to the cost. The closer you are to the event, you pay more. The further away, you pay less. So some there might be something like that. Yeah. That's
I believe Rebel City also does it too. They have a huge crowd, like thousands of people gather together for their summer series. Like
Yeah.
concert series.
maybe the commission members can help the staff. They don't have a lot of time. Help the staff to look at what other cities are doing with their business promotion and then provide the information to staff. And then another question, final one, sorry. The physical store is a requirement. I think it's true that a lot of this we want to bring small business, but those small business without the physical store does generate revenue for Cupertino also. Right? We have a lot of people who run their home business. They sell stuff online or sell stuff through like a farmer's market or the consignment kind of thing. They do generate business. So if we help them, we also help the city to generate revenue. And what might that look like? I don't know, just throwing out.
I can follow up on that. Oh, yeah.
I just want to say a quick thank you. As a marketer, I love when I see the results come back from campaigns. I feel like all too often we launch campaigns and we never see the results. So thank you for putting this together and letting us know how all the efforts went.
I want to add to that too. I was gonna say, thank you for showing us Google ads. This is an amazing job done.
I'll just piggyback on what you said. I'm just gonna do a full little summary, but EDC in Cupertino is brand new. They're not as developed as in Sunnyvale, anywhere else, so we have a long way to go in order to, but it's good that we do have that. Now, event viability can change as well, because we did have FIFA but the big game and all of that, we were expecting over 500,000 people to come in the US, here in the Bay Area. Then it slashed to 250,000, and we're talking about pre and post events. And I think that the security, the immigration, all the issues have was a very negative factors, especially for the hotels per se. Was only one weekend that we had a week rate for the weekends. Was it successful? No, but not fault of our own or anything else, but anything above and beyond. Because you've heard all the nonsense from immigration, security factors, the fact of coming through the United States and maybe welcoming, so it deterred people from coming. Unfortunately, and the pricing as well from stadium left and right. So there are a lot of factors, but what we know now, thanks to this, is that food and games attracts people. I have a full schedule of what's happening for the next 2 years in our city. So I will share those to you because we can tackle those events and do additional campaigns surrounding those. And that might be very helpful for businesses, our city, and everyone.
That's all very good idea. Just to do a little bit of checkbox. First, for everyone who signed up for the business license, are they automatically part of the shop local if they're eligible, like if their business is eligible?
So the other way around, the business has to express interest, right? So we'll reach out to businesses to know. If they complete a form and they do meet requirement, license, yes, then they can participate. But we can't voluntarily sign someone up when when they have an expressive interest to do that.
But they were given the opportunity to look at the form. License, right? Because that's the low hanging fruit is whenever there's a new business license, they're doing business in Cupertino, then we're giving them a form, say, hey, if you're interested, then we can sign up for free because nobody's gonna reject free item, right?
Yes.
That's already been done. Okay, to check the
Correct.
box. And then second, have we looked at connecting businesses to businesses? Because I know that there are businesses that always have like conference for like meetings that needs catering, and when they have team building opportunity, they have to spend a certain budget to spend on like team building. That would also be a good idea to connect with the businesses. Because I know Apple have a lot of budget to spend on team building and they have to spend every quarter or so. So and those are bigger money for the businesses, like say restaurant, because if you're for like individual people or family that come in and shop, maybe you have to do a whole day of business, then if you do just one catering, you make a big revenue for that day. So that could be something that is good for the shop local team to connect as well. So there's another route, another stream of that revenue for those local businesses.
Yeah, and I think what Vice Mayor said earlier, right? This is about our way of engaging our local businesses. Giving them opportunities to have visibility in the community and for the community to be aware of our small businesses they may not know. Right, so it's about creating that ecosystem for our small businesses to thrive to shop local area. So that could be possible for sure.
If possible, because only when adding value to the businesses are they gonna continue joining the membership and stuff. So yeah, those are very good points. Shall we open up for public comments if anyone else doesn't know?
Yes, we have 2 speakers in person. One's our first speaker is Kathy Helgerson.
Okay, it looks like the city wants to make a million from other businesses, okay. So the housing issue is a big deal because the housing requirements are taken away, for instance, the Taco Bell. Of that, which they have put a county obviously. And more places are closing, as we know, with the builds like Great Boulevard. My problem is that housing sets some high requirements. So where are all of these businesses gonna go? You guys are doing research on these businesses that are interested. My question is, where are they gonna go? Okay, you're taking them away and the housing replaces all of them. Valco's a perfect example also. That's still sitting there and I would not be surprised if in the fall they cancel it again and we have to do something about Valco, okay? All of you have to get together as a committee and go after Valco, Sand Hill and Valco and get that thing started because I don't September forget. So if housing is setting such high requirements, you guys have to comply as a city, otherwise Nation is gonna take you to court, all right, if you don't do what it says. So my problem is this. You're sitting there replacing all of these family restaurants, Staples and all these coffee shops, whatever, and building these monstrous high-rise apartments. Where are these people gonna shop? Where are they gonna eat? Okay, I guess I'll have to take a bus somewhere if they wanna eat lunch or something, right? Okay, my problem is the city doesn't recognize the real problems here. All right, and you've got to start doing something about it. You know, constantly complaining, to you guys doesn't mean no good, doesn't do a darn bit of good. Then you go ahead and decide, well, we're gonna just do some kind of research on how many companies want to come here from all over the world. Well, what good is the research if you don't have someplace to live? That doesn't make any sense, okay, to me. I've seen what's going on, you also see what's going on, and everybody's kind of looking the other way, well, you know, we'll just stick them somewhere, who knows where. But, okay, we'll find a place, if they're interested. How many are really interested? How many signed up that day? You didn't tell us that. You didn't tell us how many signed up. You told us how many were interested. That's not the same thing, okay? I want to know who actually, after you got through with them, signed up downtown. Okay, I want to know who. And where are you gonna put those people? We're gonna lease the property or rent it, or if you're threatening them with putting in apartments, they're not gonna come here, you can forget it. I see what's happening here. The writing is on the wall, and you guys have gotta wake up to this, okay? So if you wanna go fight Gavin Newsom, maybe you should, I brought this up. Get over there and fight the housing thing, because if this continues, we're not gonna have it. There's a traffic problem that we have to look at, and we need monorail. We need monorails down Stevens Creek Boulevard, nobody wants that. Library Field, nobody wants to build in City Hall. It's ridiculous. Have you seen this? Have you seen downtown City Hall?
Happy, that's the end of time.
Yeah, I wish I had an hour to talk.
Our next speaker is Michael Wang.
I think that this is a good start. Our the social media thousands of impressions, pretty good. But you know, as a young person, I'm used to impressions of millions more. And I think one of the reasons is that from all these current or the events I'm looking at here, like shop local shop Cupertino, like what is the hook? What is different physically about these events on the ground? You know, it looks like any other day to me. So I think, for example, other cities, they'll close off a retail street to only pedestrians, you know, that's something like, that's the reason to go there, like, oh, there's like something going on, there's a theme, physically, you know, there might be different vendors coming in, there might be food trucks, there might be like, you know, musical groups performing, that sort of thing. So I think like more of these like physical events would be good for our city. Additionally, I think kind of like going back to the previous commenter, I think this program is a little bit of like a Band-Aid, like on the bigger structural problem of the shape of our city. The reason why, you know, developers aren't putting in retail is it doesn't work. Restaurant will go into like a new retail space and then after 6 months they'll move out because the market conditions are just not right. So developers look at that and say, why am I building retail? And it's because these businesses are failing because there's not enough people around them to actually go and patronize these businesses. So I think, you know, contrary to what the other person said, we should build markets. We should have more people go to our businesses. And maybe like to get more viral, maybe you should hire like a social media person on the city staff. I know our reputation as a city for public service is not great right now. But you know, like I think we should be, this is a good start. I think we should be looking towards, you know, the million mark. And I also want to know, like, what's our conversion rate? Because I know we have like thousands of impressions, we have a couple thousand clicks, but what is the effect on our city?
Right.
Thank you, Michael. We have no speakers in person and no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. So the public comment is closed. Let's move on to the, if you have any comments, then we move to the next, which is the last item, which is the EDC subcommittee assignments. And I believe staff also has the presentation ready.
So this will be an actionable item here. But just for a quick background of it. At the last meeting, the EDC formally approved its 2026 work plan. Was 11 projects. And with those 11 projects came 5 new subcommittees. So at today's meeting, we're gonna have the members select themselves for the 5 subcommittees for those projects. So that way those subcommittees can start to meet. And then we'll provide report outs at future meetings, including the next one in October. So these are the 11 work plan items. Items 7 through 11 are the ones today where the membership will be establishing the subcommittee members. Right. So here again, these are the 5 items. For the broker and realtor luncheon subcommittee, the EDC work with the event planning, promotion, and stakeholder engagement. For the public-private subcommittee, that will be to identify partnership opportunities that expand both tourism, visitation, and contribute to the Cupertino's economic vitality. Have the shop local subcommittee that will advise on campaign strategy and identify opportunities to increase business participation and engagement. We have a small business council subcommittee for regulatory relief that will be to support outreach to local businesses to participate. And a small business council focused on regulatory engagement and business networking. And then we have the inventory database subcommittee to focus on key data elements for a future economic development dashboard. Next slide. These are the current active subcommittees that we have in the work plan. So members have already established themselves. However, if at this meeting today, members want to move around into different committees or stay in this committee, we can make those decisions at this meeting as well. We just cannot have no more than 4 members in each subcommittee. So you can be in as many committees you want, just can't have more than 4 for one specific subcommittee. And that's the presentation. I have a slide on the next slide. This is the entire work plan. If you now kind of discuss, share, I'm not sure how you want to deliberate on this, but the members should know how they.
Maybe we should go back to the previous page where we can see who is on which first. And because you mentioned like if there's anyone who wanted to remove themselves out of the committee or add themselves back in, because it seems like 3 out of the 4 are full. Unless somebody remove themselves and no one's.
I definitely can remove myself because I'm on all of them. You know, I'm only human, but it's also because at the time when we did this, certain members were not present.
Right.
So I'm happy to remove myself. You let me know which one anyone wants to get in and I'll remove myself.
And maybe we should just go over each one of them and this is the role and how frequent they need to work on the item and what kind of deliverable they should be presenting for, time wise, timeline wise and stuff. So people understand workload.
Yeah, thank you for that, Chair. So I plan to follow up with each of the subcommittees after our meeting, just in the interest of time. And we can discuss kind of the detail of what would be reported out at the next meeting, for example. We can do that now, but I know we're getting at the hour and a
Maybe we
half
should
mark.
do it offline. That way people can kind of think through, what they have done, what they're trying to do in the church. So that can be delegate on offline, right? Okay. But what about the news of committees? Do we do it now or off?
So I think if there's anyone that's on that's on a subcommittee that wants to remove themselves, that's one thing we should know. I think Claudia mentioned,
Well, as long as someone is interested in
but
going.
if, yeah, so if someone is interested in joining the subcommittee that already has 4 people, maybe it's good to know. And then with that, then there'll be an opportunity for that person to join.
Well, if I may, want to remove myself from number 6. Daniel, if you can put it back again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 going there, so I can remove myself from there.
Which,
Number 6.
okay, is this in here?
Well, just to clarify, I mean, 6 is for summer celebrations, and I think that subcommittee is probably,
So I
Okay.
kind of over, it is over, but I still think there's an opportunity for us to engage those businesses. And a lot of what we were talking about earlier with
Yes.
surveying.
Got
And their experience, I think we can capture that through this subcommittee.
okay.
So I think there's still value, at least for the next few months to keep this going.
Then I can, should we do a motion for this, or I can just promote myself to be on number 6? You just,
No need
yeah,
for a
no
motion.
need for motion, okay, then I can add myself, because I plan to join some of the others, and I feel like there is a lot of synergy as well for the small, the shop local, as well as the small business console and the inventory database. These are all like correlating to each other. Are you concerned on time or?
No, I'm just gonna grab it.
Sorry. This is the last item, so let's hang in there a little bit more.
I think we should probably next agenda try to time actually.
Yeah.
we can-
And we're scheduled for 1 hour, right?
Yes.
An hour and 30
To
minutes.
just vote on whether, do we need to vote on who's being nominated for these new subcommittees, or is that also just a nomination?
Maybe,
Self-nomination first, right?
maybe for the 3 new ones, anyone feels strongly they want to join, they can just
Sign up.
sign up now,
Okay.
right? And then,
Okay,
Then-
self-nomination.
and then can also join after the meeting by sending email to Daniel, right?
Oh, okay. Right, yeah.
And that,
You can stop. Can I be added to 7 and 8? Or I would like to express interest in it. For vice chair, and then for Commissioner Assault.
Yeah, I'm already in phase 1.
Okay, you're good.
I'll join 10 and 11.
And Commissioner Carter
On 10.
on 10. And then Ray is not.
yeah, yeah, we can
And
send.
Commissioner Dante.
I'm already on 3
Okay,
subcommittees.
got it.
so.
Then I'll skip Bono. Or you wanted to be added to.
Just to remove
I'll remove myself from number 5 as well. That way I can
Oh.
focus on 2 others.
I think I like the 3 I'm on.
And do you want to self-nominate on any of the new ones?
I have to look into it again, sorry.
Then I can go, right? Okay. I would love to be added on number 7 and 10 and 11. She loves it pretty much. And we can do the.
Oh, actually, I think we are Summer of Celebrations Local Campaign Subcommittee, right? And number 9 seems to be very similar to that. So I think maybe
Yeah.
should we combine those two or
I mean, 9 and 6.
9 and
Yeah.
No, 6 and 9.
Actually,
I mean, 3, 6, and 9.
are very
6,
similar.
9 are very, very similar.
So actually with number 3, that has kind of
Passed.
itself,
Okay.
because that's sort of done.
Number 3.
That's done, right?
done.
So I'd like to add myself to number 9 then. If there's space.
Definitely number 10.
You have question now and we can.
Going to publish this to us so that we can
And I'll organize a meeting with each.
yeah. Because
Yeah, that would be very.
I'm recovering from surgery, so I don't have a lot of enthusiasm. In another month, I'll have much more enthusiasm to say, oh, I can be on this committee.
Oh, which I thanking with you, yeah.
I think so far, I think Project 10, Small Business Council Subcommittee has 4 people, Tracy, Jack, Claudio, and there's someone else. Jane. So that's already at capacity.
And if anyone wants to be on that, I can remove myself, so just.
Did you get it? Yeah. Or maybe when we do send out an email, you can just put optional so people know that seat can be taken.
Right.
That is possible. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. So we're for email and then should we open up for public?
Yes. No speakers in person and no hands raised.
All right. Do we not use motions?
Okay, one. Okay, Kathy, how about you? Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
have a question. So, do the subcommittees report to the committee? And then the committee gives the information to me? I'm a little confused with that. And you have to work that out, I think, right? Kind of work that out, is that what's going on? Anyways, it's very important because we have to connect with each other, so, more people just cause more work and confusion, so I'm trying to get a handle here on how this works. And then how far out do you guys reach? Reaching to other cities, to see what they're doing, do they have, committees like we have? Promoting on housing, maybe we can work with other cities and see what they're doing. And that might help some of the people that are on the committee, because, let's face it, you guys don't have experience doing it. So I don't know if we get along with what I'm gonna get mentioned. Maybe, that's a good idea, right? Everything's on the web. Go ask AI, so they'll tell you all kinds of things. But the city is trying to expand in a sense where they want to, bring in more resources. Now, I'm a little confused here. Do we need more money?
Oh, maybe.
We have Valco sitting there with revenue and nobody's taking advantage of. Okay, this is wrong. You know, we have buildings that have been vacated for decades that nobody's taking advantage of yet, except for property taxes. So I want to see things moving along here. I want to see the city, I want to see you guys doing something about what's already there that we can bring revenue in instead of, trying to promote all of this stuff. It's going to cause everybody a lot of work. And I just want to see what's going to be brought back to this meeting that's really, beneficial to everybody, not just committee members. And then how does the city council work with you? You go there and talk about some of these things in front of the city council, that'd be kind of nice, And that way, the citizens would see what you guys are doing and how you're doing and what you're doing. And maybe bring in some of the small businesses to talk about what they're doing and what they want and what they see the future of Cupertino, what's that gonna be like, And that makes me feel like, with the subcommittees, we have to really look at the possibilities. Can't just say, well, we've got a little list here and that's it. So that's why I said go out to other cities and see what they're doing and maybe even meet with them. Some of you guys can meet with some of the representatives in other cities and say, wow, we'd really love to meet with you guys and let's talk things over between the two of us. This is a learning process. I don't think this has ever been done at the city. I think this is the.
Thank you, Kathy. That is your time. We have no remaining speakers here.
We don't have any comments. We don't have to motion.
So just to respond to, I have the same question. So does the subcommittee provide a report to this committee? How often is that done?
So the next meeting will be in October and each of the subcommittees will provide a report report out of that.
So it will be a verbal report or written.
Sometimes we have presentation.
Presentation. And,
Oh, okay, that's nice. And then the other question was about when does this committee report to the city council? What's the plan? I don't know.
We have a quarterly meetup with the mayor. And that is it's as far as I know.
And it's all.
During the quarterly meetup, now whoever attends, mostly the chair, will provide a written update of what the committee has been doing, which I started last year. So that's good. So and that will become an info memo that's published. So actually all the council members can get update from those, all the commissions. So there, another question was, do we bring in small businesses to speak about what they feel, what they want to see? So I guess this is something I think Daniel is doing almost constantly, right? Talking to small business, but they are not bringing them to the committee or the city council. But they don't have time. I think they are very busy people, the business, small business. So it's good that they are working through the staff, providing feedback to the staff. And the other comment was about a meeting with similar representatives from other city. I'm guessing it's about economic development people from other cities. I think each city has their own economic department. They may or may not have this committee. So I'm curious, how are they doing? Yeah, so that's something maybe commission members, if you have interest, you can try and meet. By the way, Tina, when at one time, a few years back, I was trying to find out, okay, what other cities are doing on economic development. So through LinkedIn, I reached out to all the economic development people in other cities. And that's when I connected with Tina. So I met with her and through Zoom and understood, okay, how it works at Fremont at the time. I met with someone in San Mateo, and then that somehow got Tina interested to apply for Cupertino. But I didn't really recruit her. I'm just pleasantly surprised. Oh, she replied to Cupertino. So feel free to reach out to other cities, their commissioners, and learn from their experience. Yeah.
That'll be good. That's actually a very, very viable action item.
The idea of reaching out to other EDC is great, and a few months ago, I spoke with Mountain View, they're very active, and maybe by concentrating and doing other events in contingency with other cities and EDC might be a great for the entire area, so it's not a bad idea.
You could also invite maybe an economic development manager from Fremont to come and speak
Mhm.
to this community,
Again.
right? So
It's a very good.
what program they are doing. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you for bringing that up.
that's thanks to Kathy.
Yep.
Brought up the. Help us brainstorm.
Do we need a motion for this?
We actually do a motion on the assignments.
Oh.
And see where we. And if anything is incorrect.
On the assignment, just.
Yeah, for the new ones.
So what I have is Chair Lynn to add herself to number 7 and number 8. Solstron to add herself to 10 and 11. Committee member Carter to add himself to 10. Committee member Bono to remove himself from number 5. Chair Lynn to add herself to 7, 10, and 11. Committee member Dante to add himself to number 9, and committee member Bono to add himself to number 10. Does that sound right?
Yeah, just a quick correction. The first 2, 7, and 8 was vice chair.
Oh, okay.
And there was just one missing. I think number 5 I was out as well. There were 2 of them that I was out. And find it. Right.
Quick question on
Where is that?
number three. If number three is done, should we remove that from the list?
I need to find my own, economic. You'll see. That was the question.
Number three, we are done with that subcommittee, right? Should we remove that from our list of subcommittee?
And you combine for 6 and 9, that is. 6 and 9 are very simple, so it's not a lot.
So 5 and 6, what's that?
So for number 5 and number 6.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read it out one more time and then we can just get a mover in a second.
I think there is one more
Okay.
I
question.
think you should combine 6 and 9, they're very similar.
You can do that, but. It might be helpful because for the summer thing, which is about to end, it might as well intertwine with something else.
That's true,
That
yeah.
requires a motion as well, right?
Yes.
You can make it all into
We make it together, yeah.
make it together? Okay, I'm gonna read it out one more time. So Vice Chair King to be added to 7 and 8. Committee Member Casultron to add herself to 10 and 11. Committee Member Carter to add himself to 10. Committee Member Bono to remove himself from number 5 and number 6. Chair Lynn to add herself to 7 and 10 and 11. Committee Member Dante to add himself to number 9. Committee Member Bono to add himself to number 10. To remove number 3 and to combine 6 and 9. Do I have
A motion to approve.
I'll
Yes.
second that.
A question. I thought you said the 9 was already at capacity. Is it?
No, 10.
Oh, 10.
10.
10.
So add combining 6 and 9, how many members are there? Because 6 already has 6. 6 already have 4 members. Are they overlapping?
No, because Claudia was removing the stuff from number.
So combining 6 and 9 will still have 3 members. Oh, okay. That's
We
good.
could add.
So should we move foot number 1?
Well, we already moved the motion and I second it.
Okay, are we ready for a vote?
Yes.
Committee Member Isawa,
Yes.
Committee Member Bono,
Yes.
Committee Member Carter,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chow,
Yes.
Committee Member Dante,
Yes.
Committee Member Casultron. Yes. Vice Chair King,
Yes.
Chair Lynn.
Yes,
The motion carries with Committee Member Yip absent.
thank you. The next item, staff and committee reports. I assume we don't have any future agenda setting. No. Okay, the meeting's adjourned.